Hey, this is Derrik Jordan. Welcome to the World Fusion Show, where we bring you the leading innovators in world fusion music. And today I am so excited to be joined by Annette Philip. Annette is a piano player, a singer, composer, arranger, and the leader and founder of the Berklee Indian Ensemble in Boston. She's doing amazing work with her students there. And I'm just so glad to have her with us. Annette Philip, thank you and welcome to the World Fusion Show.
Thank you, Derek. I'm so honored to be here with you.
Well, the pleasure is mine. I've been hoping to get you on for quite a long time. And I've just been knocked out by the videos that you guys are doing at Berklee with this amazing ensemble, which, even though it's called the Indian Ensemble, has a lot of other influences going on, musicians from all over the world who contribute and really enrich the whole sound tremendously. So, but I wanted to start really by just asking you a little bit about your background, because you told me you grew up in India and Singapore and it's kind of unusual because you would go back and forth. Tell me a little bit about what your upbringing was like.
Well, my upbringing was interesting because, as you know, I was born in India, and at age 3, my family moved to Singapore. I was there for about 8 years, and that is where I think the music bug really happened. Of course, India has such a vast and rich tradition of Indian classical and Indian folk music. But when I was in Singapore, I kind of stumbled upon harmony. And there's a fun story that happened. I think that gives, that was like the thread throughout everything. I was at school and my teachers were singing this song, which I knew. And then they were singing this new melody. And I was quite surprised because it was the wrong melody, but it sounded great. And I'm dating myself, but my parents had given me a little dictaphone. And I came home and I recorded the melody and then I tried to recreate what it was. And I guess without realizing at age 4 or 5, I had stumbled upon what harmony was. And I just loved that experience of 2 or 3 or more things mixing together. And ever since, I've been obsessed with vocal harmonies. And wherever I've gone, I've found a way to, create a community based primarily on vocal harmonies. And then as I grew older and older and got more exposed to things, I started adding more elements. And one of the examples of the groups that was formed is the Berklee Indian Ensemble. So Singapore was a time for exploring different things: piano, trumpet, recorder, of course, singing. And then eventually, age 11, I moved back to India, continued with my studies in Western classical piano, and just kept exploring what the human voice can do. And that's really where, that's the seed of everything. I think vocal as elements is really the seed of everything in all my musical projects.
Yes, well, it's wonderful. And of course, being exposed to harmony and being attracted to that is pretty different than the typical Indian drone-oriented
Right.
music, right? And so you really got to explore and expand your musical horizons at an early age.
Yeah.
It's just really great. Now, I would love to go to your first video, and I would like you to introduce it. This one is called Mark My Brow. Tell us a little bit about how this came to be.
So this was actually a dream project of our former Berklee president, Roger Brown. And he has always been in love with India and Indian culture, and specifically with the writing of Rabindranath Tagore, who is one of India's first Nobel laureates as a poet way back in 1913. And the poem is called Earth, and we wanted to do a theatrical interpretation of the poem. And for me, it was a very cathartic experience because the song talks about asking ourselves, is it ever enough? Is anything that we do ever enough? And then it starts really introspective, and it's a long form song, which is something I'm used to doing. It evolves into this massive celebration where maybe the point of life is about being joyful and being of service and being grateful for all we experience. And musically, it was also very exciting because it was this opportunity to combine my love for jazz and Eastern styles and gospel and R&B all together with an incredible cast of musicians. We had Antonio Sanchez on drums, John Patitucci on bass, the amazing Dennis Montgomery III on Hammond, Tia Fuller on sax, of course, Roger and our co-writer Patrick Simard on percussion, and a huge choir, a string quartet. It was just an amazing time. So I need the reminder to, remember the big picture, zoom out and remember the big picture, even in our daily kind of little troubles. And I think that's a lot of what this song is about.
That's great. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. So let's go and watch this wonderful video right now.
I've seen beauty and abundance, mangoes bent with ripeness, the harvest of seeds that I've sown, crushed free of dew each morning by delicate sunbeams. Your blessings and bounty I've known. I've crossed dry and barren deserts where a dance of ghosts awakens, abandoned creations, forgotten and forsaken, a graveyard of animal bones, bowing at the altar of your setting sun. If I have been of worthy service, mark my brow with a sign of your claim, with a sign of your claim. Mark my brow with the sign of your claim, with the sign of your claim. I remember the perfume of lush jasmine flowers at the grave of my father in the cool twilight hour, the sorrow of letting him go. And I recall the rejoicing at the birth of my daughter, songs of celebration on the eve of tomorrow. What burdens and joys will she know? Bowing at the altar of your setting sun, if I have been of worthy service, mark my brow with the sign of your claim, with the sign of your claim. Mark my brow, with the sign of your claim, with the sign of your claim. Mark my brow, with the sign of your claim, with the sign of your claim.
Now, that's just so beautiful. And I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your influences. You told me that you were inspired by Karen Carpenter, which I think is when you were young, which I think is great because I love Karen Carpenter. She has a tremendous voice. And I think that's just so interesting. And, but you also, we're going to get into a video, our next video as well. But one thing that really inspired you was touring with A.R. Rahman. Now, a lot of our viewers may not be familiar with A.R. Rahman, who is basically the most popular composer of all time. Well, right now anyway, currently alive, I would say, and be a major player in the Indian music world in Hollywood, Bollywood, that is. So can you tell us a little bit about some of that, working with him?
Yes. So first of all, for our audience that may not know Mr. A.R. Rahman, he is an iconic visionary composer. I remember as a child listening to music on the radio or on television and not always gravitating towards, the typical Bollywood music at the time. And there was this one song that came out that completely blew my mind. And it was from his first movie, Roja. And when I heard that, there was just this distinct flavor, very much honoring our Indian classical traditions and Indian folk traditions, but at the same time with this gorgeous harmonic, Western harmonic context and again, global cultural influences. And something about that first song that got released really piqued my curiosity. And as time went on, one of my dreams was, I want to work with Mr. Rahman. I need to work with him. I so resonate with his music. I'm getting chills just talking about his music. And so once the Indian Ensemble had been founded in 2011, we began considering bringing in living legends to the Boston campus of Berklee to do artist residencies. And one of the first names was Mr. A.R. Rahman. And we, in fact, not only did a tribute concert, but we awarded him a Berklee honorary doctorate degree. And that concert was one of my, biggest moments of pride. We had 109 musicians on stage. We took a year to produce that concert. And I think to date, it is the most widely watched concert on Berklee YouTube channel, as well as the night of the show, we had 66,000 people streaming from all over the world. And I think that's just testament to how amazing Mr. Rahman is and how he's impacted our lives.
That's so great. Now, we're going to go to our next video. This is a song written by one of your students, and I think you helped arrange it as well. So tell us a little bit about that quickly.
Jago Pia is this beautiful song. It means arise, my love. It was brought by Berklee's first Bangladeshi student, Armin Musa, and the melody was written by her. Her mother wrote the lyrics, and it's just a beautiful song that reminds you again to be grateful for the little things. And it's another great example of lush vocal harmonies with a beautiful Indian or South Asian melody combined with Western harmonies.
That's so great. Let's go to watch the video right now.
জাগো পিয়া আর ঘুমায়ো না, জাগো পিয়া আর ঘুমায়ো না, নিশেষ আপন বলো বলো, নিশেষ আপন বলো বলো, জাগো পিয়া আর ঘুমায়ো না।
we are back with Annette Philip. Wasn't that fantastic? What a great ensemble. Now, I would love to go to our next video and ask you to introduce this. This is a very unusual group of women that you've been performing with for many years. Tell us about this.
The group's name is Women of the World, and it currently includes Ayumi Ueda from Japan, who is the founder, Giorgia Renosto from Italy, Deborah Ray from Haiti via United States, and myself from India. And we currently sing in 37 languages and counting. And the whole idea of the group was to use music to learn about each other's cultures and to really expose our audiences across the world to music that they may not usually get to hear, but also make sure we're bringing music from forgotten languages, languages that are going extinct, and stories from many parts of the world to one stage. So this is a little introduction to Bulgarian music, Appalachian, Indian, Italian, and Japanese music.
Well, it's really fantastic and incredibly diverse and fits beautifully with our mission on the World Fusion Show. So here we go. Let's watch this video.
Let's go walking down the street, walking down the street. Kakuleta kumoni, kuroi, kuroi, ma kuroi, sumi no yana kumoni. Filar lan vuol filar, così non la sa fare, il sol della campagna, il sol della campagna. Filar al vuol filar, così non la sa fare, il sol della campagna, la dischi le fa mal. Teresina briagona, poca voglia lavora, la setta della che sai raga ancora da pagare. Dum 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 e tacca dum daga daga da dum. Dum daga daga da ba da ka dum. Oh la lay 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 lay. Oh la 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 oh. Oh la 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 way. Oh la 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 la. Oh lay. Yes, gentlemen. Oh Lord, you know that Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. He fought the battle, fit the battle, fit the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. The walls come tumbling down.
How's that for diversity? I think it's pretty cool. Now, we've got one more video to go to, and this is an original song that you wrote and with your partner, I think, and it's very profound. So please tell us about what's behind this song.
Thank you so much, Derrik, and thank you again for this platform to share this kind of music. I began writing music with my partner, Stephen Weber, who is a multi-instrumentalist, vocalist, and also a colleague of mine at Berklee. And we formed a duo called Tigs and Nettles. That's another story for another time about the name of the group. But especially during lockdown, we were hearing all these stories about people whose families or relatives were in the hospital and you just couldn't visit them. It just wasn't safe. And there was story after story being shared with us, and we needed a a channel, a way to kind of deal with those emotions. And also, we wanted to pay homage to all the people who passed away, especially in the first and second wave. Now, of course, we're in the third wave of COVID, and it's been a really difficult time. And I think everyone deals with grief in different ways. And our way was to channel it through music. So this is a song called No Visitors Allowed. And we hope that it provides some solace.
Yeah, it's just really beautiful, very moving. I'm sure our audience is going to love it. So let's go and watch this beautiful song right now.
Father was a minister. When he'd preach, folks would listen, being helpful and kind, his purpose and mission. At the end by his bedside, my sister and I were both there, holding his hands and saying a prayer. I can't even imagine the pain folks are going through. No visitors allowed. To be so abandoned, no one's eyes to look into. No visitors allowed. David's favorite grandson flew home for Thanksgiving break. By the time he got tested, David's body had begun to ache. Invading David's nursing home like soldiers in the Trojan War, from one room to another, spreading like fire from floor to floor. I can't even imagine the pain folks are going through. No visitors allowed. To be so abandoned, no one's eyes to look into. No visitors allowed. Do they even know why there's no family by their side? No one they've ever known. When the time comes to die, are they mystified why they've been left all alone? Andrew got the phone call he was dreading to receive. He made his way to Kentucky, preparing to grieve. Standing by the window outside the building on the parking lot side, to the sound of trucks on the highway, Andrew watched his mother die. I can't even imagine the pain folks are going through. No visitors allowed. No, 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 no. To be so abandoned, no one's eyes to look into. No visitors allowed. No visitors allowed.
All right, we are back after that deeply moving song. Now, Annette, I just wanted to ask you if you have anything else you'd like to share with our audience.
Just continue to give yourself permission to express yourself and create and make mistakes. I think that has been my goal at the start of this year. Sometimes it's easy to forget many things, and this year I've really decided I need to judge myself less. And I think no matter what field you're in, that's applicable. So I hope that all of us, especially coming out of COVID in a post-pandemic world, can be kinder to ourselves and to each other. And that's all I want to say.
That's great. And I think you're right. Thank you for saying that about allowing yourself to make mistakes, because that's where the learning happens, right? Taking those chances and falling on your face, picking yourself up and trying to do it better the next time, right? So it's really great. And Annette Philip, I wanted to thank you so much for being our guest today on the World Fusion Show. It's been my honor and pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Derrik. I'm so appreciative.
Okay. Take care now, and hopefully someday we'll get to meet in person and work together.
I look forward to that.
Hey, this is Derrik Jordan. Thank you for joining us today, once again on the World Fusion Show, and it's just been great having you. We have so many great shows and guests coming up, so please stay tuned. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and tell your friends. And let's keep spreading this great music and diversity through inclusiveness all over the planet. I want to give a big thank you to our sponsors, Mackenzie Family Charitable Trust, Chris Pratt, Nancy Feinberg, and Ron Dance for their generous support. And as we always like to say on the show, remember, think globally, listen locally, and support independent music.